There's nothing soft about the USC defense that you are going to see this season. D'Anton Lynn, the Miracle Man, did his magic in year one. This was one of the worst defenses that I've ever seen, that we've ever seen the year before he arrived in 2023. In only 1 year, you saw USC's defense dramatically improve. They were better against the run. Their pass defense was better. Now in year two, D'Anton Lynn has more pieces to run the style of defense that he wants to run. Last year, he had to blitz a little bit more than what he would have liked to due to the defensive line's inability to consistently get after the quarterback. That's going to improve along with the run defense. Last year, when they lost to Michigan due to that 2-minute cycle ground and pound, that was a clear indicator that USC just didn't have the horses up front. And they did somewhat get a rude awakening in the Big Ten. You know, for as much as they emphasize getting stronger, getting bigger on the defensive line, they just didn't have the horses last year. This year, though, you will never see some shit happen that you saw last year, the final 2 minutes of that Michigan game. There is no chance a team is going to just ground and pound you to death for a 2-minute drive to win the game. This defensive line, D'Anton Lynn and Lincoln Riley have emphasized not just getting bigger and stronger, but also adding more depth to this unit and also having multiple guys that have the versatility to move around this line as well. Defensive tackle, Devan Thompkins. Look out for him. He's going to have a breakout season. He came to USC as a 220-pound edge rusher in Lincoln Riley's initial recruiting class when he first took this job in South Cal. And a few years later, he's turned into a 295-pound defensive lineman. He's explosive, he's disruptive, and he embodies what D'Anton Lynn wants this defense to be this year. He appeared in every game last year. He had a sack and a half, 3 TFLs, a few pass deflections. He's going to be a major contributor on this defensive line for the Trojans in 2025. He's not the only defensive lineman that USC has that is going to have a breakout season. Defensive lineman, Jakeem Stewart. He was a top 100 recruit in this past year's recruiting cycle. And although he's a true freshman, he already has grown man size on him. He's like 6'5", 290 pounds. And I was watching some of his highlights before recording this thing. I don't know what these parents are feeding these boys as babies, but he moves like what you expect out of a future first-round pick in the NFL. He's just an absolute freak in all caps. You're going to get more sacks out of your pass rushers this year. Cameron Fountain, he's going to have a breakout year also. He played in 8 games, started for 2 sacks, registered a tackle and a half for loss. He was a former top 100 recruit as well. A lot of the defensive linemen that USC has starting for them this year are not just these 3 stars that they were getting last year, like that defensive lineman that they got out of Wyoming. Like, no, they have big, talented, and super athletic bodies on this defensive line this year. When you see USC's defensive line up this year, you're going to tell the night and day difference between this year's unit and what they had on the defensive line last year. They're going to be big, physical, explosive, and they're going to be causing a lot of havoc on the line of scrimmage. Eric Gentry, he comes into his, 3rd year with this program. He's going to be a major chess piece for this defense. They say that they want to use him more creatively. He can do everything. He can stop the run. He's good in coverage, but they also want him to be more involved getting after the quarterback. And this secondary is incredibly good. I feel this secondary has the possibility of being one of the best in the Big Ten this year. You get Kamari Ramsey, who returns. He was pretty much arguably your best defensive back last year. You got a really good transfer in Bishop Fitzgerald from NC State. He had 3 picks, 8 pass deflections last year for the Wolfpack. Cornerback Marcellus Williams is entering his second year at the program. He was a 4-year starter at St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco, for those of you guys who don't keep up with Cali high school football, is a powerhouse. They normally don't have guys who start from their true freshman year to their senior years. That's a sign of how good this dude is. He has good technique, really good ball skills. USC this year is going to have a top 40 defense in year 2 under D'Anton Lynn. We don't call him the miracle man for no reason. At UCLA, he transformed that defense in only a year. In year 2 at USC, you're going to see an even bigger step in the right direction on this side of the football under Lincoln Riley. They still continue to get bigger, get stronger, and they continue to get more talented on the front seven. This is a defense that is good enough that helped the Trojans get to the playoffs this year. I think USC goes 10-2 this year. And the main reason why is because of D'Anton Lynn. And when this season is all said and done, he's going to be a finalist for the Jim Boyles Award, and he's probably going to be a candidate for a lot of head coaching jobs that soon are to come available. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, and within the span of one season, he took what was the worst defense in the history of college football that we've ever seen to damn near a top 50 unit. This year, they're a sure thing to have a top 50 defense. And we know how good this USC offense is going to be if Lincoln Riley dialing up the plays. They've improved on that side of the ball, but that's a conversation for a different day. Look out for USC's defense. They're going to shock the world with how good they're going to be this year. If you've been one of those pundits saying, Lincoln Riley will never get the defense right, he's about to shut you up this year. They've improved from a staff standpoint. They have one of the best defensive staffs in all of college football, Doug Belt. You want to know why USC has been going ham in recruiting? It's not just because of the good general manager they have, but because he's one of the more savvy recruiters in the nation. There are a lot of studs that Lincoln Riley has on this coaching staff. With the talent that they have now, being able to be the defense that they want to be, this is no longer going to be a soft, sugar puff, powder puff defense. You won't see Michigan running any kind of psycho ground and pound for a game-winning drive in 2 minutes.